Hey, Cowboys Nation. It seems like the drama never stops in Dallas, does it? If you thought this offseason would be a quiet one, think again. We're diving into some scorching hot takes today, and they're coming from none other than the legendary Michael Irvin. He's got some choice words for Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys' decision-making, especially when it comes to the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer as the offensive coordinator. You won't want to miss this, so stick around because we're breaking it all down right here. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of what Michael Irvin said, and believe me, he did not hold back, let's quickly recap where the Cowboys stand right now. It's been a whirlwind couple of years for Dallas, hasn't it? After a solid 12-5 season, expectations were sky high. We all thought this team had the pieces to make a legitimate Super Bowl run. But what happens? They get knocked out in the divisional round, again. It's been almost 3 decades since the Cowboys last tasted Super Bowl glory, and the fans are understandably frustrated. And when the fans are frustrated, you know that the pressure on Jerry Jones and the front office cranks up to an 11. So, Jerry and the crew knew they had to make some changes this offseason. The first big domino to fall? Kellen Moore. After being one of the most talked-about offensive coordinators in the league, Kellen and the Cowboys parted ways. Whether you think that was the right move or not, it was clear that Jerry wanted a new direction. Enter Brian Schottenheimer, a name that definitely got people talking, but not in the way you might think. Some fans are optimistic, sure, but let's just say the move didn't exactly send shockwaves of excitement through Cowboys Nation. And Michael Irvin? Oh, he had a lot to say about it. For those who don't know, Brian Schottenheimer has been around the NFL for a long time. He's the son of legendary coach Marty Schottenheimer, and he's had stints with teams like the Jets, Rams, Seahawks, and Jaguars. His track record? Well, it's mixed, to say the least. Some say he's a solid, experienced coach. Others think he's way too conservative and hasn't really adapted to the modern NFL. So, when the Cowboys announced he'd be stepping in to replace Kellen Moore, you could hear the collective groan from certain parts of the fan base. And Michael Irvin, being the passionate, unfiltered guy he is, decided to go in on the decision. Now, Michael Irvin isn't just some random critic. He's a Hall of Famer, a 3-time Super Bowl champion, and one of the most iconic players in Cowboys history. When he talks, people listen. And boy, did he have some thoughts about Jerry Jones and this hire? According to Irvin, this move screams of Jerry wanting to maintain control rather than actually doing what's best for the team. He didn't outright call the hire a mistake, but he made it very clear that he's not sold on Schottenheimer being the guy to take Dallas to the promised land. Irvin pointed out something that a lot of fans have been whispering about for years. Jerry Jones likes yes-men. He's not exactly known for stepping back and letting his coaches have full autonomy. And that's where some of the criticism of the Schottenheimer hire comes in. Is he really the best guy for the job? Or is he someone who's just going to toe the company line and let Jerry call the shots from behind the scenes? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And Michael Irvin, being as blunt as ever, didn't shy away from addressing it. Irvin also took a moment to reflect on what this means for Dak Prescott. Let's face it, Dak's performance in the playoffs left a lot to be desired. There's no sugarcoating it. And now, with Schottenheimer running the offense, the pressure on Dak is about to skyrocket. Irvin believes that if this team doesn't figure things out offensively and fast, Dak could be the one who takes the fall. We've seen it time and time again in the NFL when things go south. It's the quarterback who gets the blame, fair or not. And with Jerry's infamous impatience, it's not hard to imagine Dak being on a short leash. But let's not forget, it's not just Michael Irvin who has questions about this hire. Analysts and fans across the league are scratching their heads too. Schottenheimer's track record as an offensive coordinator isn't exactly sparkling. Sure, he's had some success, but he's also had his fair share of struggles. Remember his time with the New York Jets or the Rams? There were some rough patches, to say the least. His offenses have often been criticized for being too predictable, too conservative, and not creative enough to keep up with the modern game. And in a league where innovation is king, that's not exactly what you want to hear. Now, let's circle back to Jerry Jones for a moment. Love him or hate him, the man knows how to keep his team in the spotlight. But his decision-making? That's another story. Jerry has always been a polarizing figure, and this move is just the latest in a long line of controversial decisions. Is he truly committed to building a championship team, or is he more interested in maintaining control and staying in the headlines? Michael Irvin seems to think it's the latter, and honestly, he's not alone. One thing's for sure, the pressure on Brian Schottenheimer is immense. He's stepping into a role where the expectations are sky high, and the margin for error is razor thin. Cowboys fans are some of the most passionate and demanding in all of sports. They don't want excuses. They want results. And with the NFC looking as competitive as ever, Schottenheimer is going to have his work cut out for him. If he can't get this offense firing on all cylinders, it won't just be his reputation on the line. It could have ripple effects throughout the entire organization. But let's be real here. This isn't just about Schottenheimer. It's about the entire culture of the Cowboys organization. Michael Irvin touched on something that's been a sore spot for fans for years, the lack of accountability at the top. Jerry Jones runs the show, and that's not going to change anytime soon. But when your team hasn't made it past the divisional round in nearly 3 decades, at what point do you start to question the decision-making at the very top? Irvin's comments are a reflection of a frustration that's been bubbling under the surface for a long time. So, what's next for the Cowboys? Can Schottenheimer prove the doubters wrong and take this offense to new heights? Can Dak Prescott bounce back and silence his critics? And perhaps, most importantly, can Jerry Jones step back and let his coaches do their jobs without meddling? These are the questions that will define the Cowboys' 2024 season. And if you're a fan, you know there's never a dull moment with this team. Before we wrap up, let's hear from you, Cowboys Nation. What do you think about the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer? Are you optimistic about the direction of the team, or do you share Michael Irvin's concerns? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because we want to hear from you. This is your team, your passion, and your voice matters. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay up to date with all the latest Cowboys news, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. We've got a lot more content coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Cowboys! See you next time.